At some point, we're losing a little here on the exhaust side, but. So since we're waiting on some parts for this one really, and we're gonna do a few things to that one too, figure we do some maintenance while we're waiting. If we are gonna do any of this crazy front side stuff on the smaller tire deal, they're probably gonna lean on it a little bit out the back, or so I've been told that's what it's gonna take. I'm gonna do a little maintenance on it. This motor's been together a long time, been in the car a while, so last time I changed the oil, there was a little more condensation in the oil than I wanted, and I know it's been kind of cold out and stuff, but just in case, I don't want to have problems at a race or later on, and the car's just going to be sitting here for a few days waiting on parts. So I'm going to go ahead and put a fresh set of head gaskets on it and just make sure everything's a-okay. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, pal. Fucking gnat just went in my mouth.
I don't like gnats. I'm scared of gnats. Somebody get my baby out the gnats. The gnats eating my baby.
Yeah. Try. Get off my train. Right here in this little corner. Yeah. Hey, there we go. There goes that. Son of a beat. Yeah, please. Just anywhere, be fine, thanks. Holy moly.
You did it! Congratulations!
It does have like water down it, but
The gasket looks fine though.
yeah.
That's the first thing I noticed. The gasket looks new. At some point, we're losing a little here on the exhaust side, but well, that's weird. Okay, so surfaces are prepped, semi-prepped. They're at least halfway cleaned. Took a wire brush, got all the around the wires that are in the bore for the sleeve. I run a double O-ring because I only have 10 head bolts, and so it has an O-ring in the sleeve here, a stainless O-ring in the sleeve, and then it has a stainless O-ring in the head, and they clamp around each other, and it's either, some people call it a W O-ring because it's a W, makes a W. Some people call it double O-ring because it's 2 O-rings. Either way, that's so, but they don't work very good if they're dirty or if they have carbon buildup on the inside and outside of the wire. So you got to take good care make sure it's all really good and clean. Make sure all the bolt holes are dry inside. I use big long Q-tips for that, and some brake clean. But next up is gonna be, this is clean, but not fully prepped. Before we set the gasket on, I'll lacquer thinner it a couple times until the rag comes clean, and then it'll be ready for, heads are clean, drying right there. So now they're clean and scratched up, real good, scuffed up, whatever you want to call it, so that they'll accept some copper spray. I'm gonna hit them with the lacquer thinner until these rags come mighty clean, and then I'm gonna spray one and start reassembly. So while that gasket's drying, this is kind of the reason, because I know some of you are going to say, well, hey, why would you need to change the head gaskets if you saw some water somewhere? If it's dry decked, head gasket can leak and no water would go anywhere. But what I worry about is when you beat on these head castings, because they're just cast Edelbrock Performer heads, when you beat on them enough, to dry deck it, they have water ports in them. So to dry deck it, you have to plug those water ports, weld the holes up, and then resurface the head so it's nice and smooth. But after a while, when you first do it, man, you can hardly even see them. But after a while of beating on them, like you can see that one there, they start to sink in. It's just, you know, I don't know, filler, I don't know, it's just different material. It's weird how that works, but they start to sink in, and you can see them, they'll start to sink in, and they'll get a little porous. I've got some that are so bad you have to silicone over all the dry deck holes, my spare heads, because they've, you know, been around for since the beginning of time. So
I'm too old for this shit.
These aren't as bad. Luckily I don't see anything super major wrong here, so I think everything's going to be fine. So hopefully it was just extra condensation from the cooler weather, or I'm just being paranoid, I don't know, but everything looks good here. The head gaskets didn't look that bad for as long as we've been running them, so we're just gonna put this thing back together and make sure it's okay. First oil change, we'll know. And just like that, it's back together. As you can see, this is why we work so hard to make our stuff serviceable and keep as many parts on hand as we can afford. It makes it to where when you're waiting on parts and you got something like this to do, you just do it and you don't think about it. You know what I mean? Like, you work as hard as you can to make it serviceable, where you can take it apart and put it back together, because at the end of the day, it's a race car. It's a race car engine, whatever it is, it's just nuts and bolts. It don't owe you a fucking thing. You know, it's going to come apart when it wants to. I would rather it not come apart, and I would rather dictate when it does, if that makes any sense. If I can decide, hey, if it comes apart this weekend, it doesn't bother me any. I'd rather it be like that than to be like, man, I hope it lasts another, cross our fingers, hope it lasts another race or whatever. And, you know, around here, in the wintertime, you never know. We may not race for 3 or 4 weeks. We may go test 3 or 4 weeks in a row. We may go racing when it's 10 degrees, who knows? So best thing for us is just fix it when it needs fixing. And it didn't take that long, as you can see. And now that it's back together, I'll probably wait on Jackie to finish her project that she's working on the Cadillac. Come over here and help me start it up, check for leaks, make sure there's no noise or water going anywhere, and then we'll wait on the first oil change and make sure it's good.
Are you Gus Masters? Sorry, I spit a lot when I speak. People despise me for it.
The Lord is my shepherd. He know what I want. Excuse me, brother. Miss Parker!
You put it on my little table.